Well, welcome to another edition of Carnivore Bites. I'm your host, Jeff Sherman, along with Dr. Eric Lopkin. So, Dr. Lopkin, another eventful week is unfolding, and we look first at what's going on with abortion. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it really is amazing how many states are now trying to put laws on the books for the sole purpose of getting them to the Supreme Court and overturning Roe v. Wade. And it's not even, right versus left, because you've got a Democratic governor signing one of the most restrictive ones into law. You've got the Trump administration coming out and saying, no, that's too restrictive. You can't do it. So they're pushing these really to try to overturn Roe v. Wade. And I really think they're missing the boat, because these laws are going to be overturned by federal judges long before they ever get to the Supreme Court. And if the lower courts rule that these are that they cannot put these into effect because they're unconstitutional, the Supreme Court isn't even going to hear the case.
True, but I'm more intrigued with or focused on politically. I have my thoughts, but I'll defer to you first.
Politically, I think, depending on how long it takes, if the laws get shot down quickly, then it won't make a difference. If it drags out, this is going to be the Democrats' campaign for 2020.
No question about it, and it hurts the Republicans. It just does. It does.
It does and it doesn't. Because the areas that are coming out most against these laws aren't where the laws are being passed. It's in the Democratic strongholds. Well, Trump didn't win those last time. He's not going to win them this time. It really shows that the Democrats are focusing on the coasts and their strongholds rather than trying to reach out to the center of the country, which is what's been their weakness.
No question, Dr. Lopkin, but here's what I really feel is, like, the Alabama law was really restrictive. I'm pretty much pro-life. I mean, I do believe it. I really do believe that it's a choice between a woman and God. In other words, it is what it is. Okay. I mean, right. I personally believe in, freedom of choice, but if I had to do it, I wouldn't feel too good about it, because I have my own opinions that it is kind of a life, especially when you're talking like the third trimester. That's really touchy ground. I'm really being honest. I don't know what God would say about that.
I think those third trimester laws are also going to end up pushing through. They're actually more likely to get to the Supreme Court than the restrictions are.
There could be. I still think it is a rallying cry for the Democrats, and I think it may get more women out to vote, because they can use it as, gee, look how restrictive and draconian these laws are, and women's right to choose, all the stuff, all the bells and whistles. Some of it true, some of it maybe not so true, but definitely something to consider. I think was it enough to tip the election? Probably not, but I do think it hurts the Republicans and Donald Trump. Your final thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt Trump all that much, especially since he's already come out against the restrictive laws. I think it will get more women to come out, but it works on both sides, because recent polls show that in the states where these laws were passed, women are for them as much as men. I think if the pro-choice people really want to grab onto this and push it, and push through, keeping it from overturning Roe v. Wade, what they really need to focus on is less of, it's a woman's body, even though that's, the emotional grip. The legal argument is the right of the individual over the rights of the states. Because the whole argument that the states have is it's the rights of the states versus the rights of the federal government. So if you push it through that, no, this is violating the rights of the individual, then these will be stricken down quickly.
We will see how that unfolds. Now, one thing, I have a headache, a true headache, Dr. Lopkin, a true headache, and even the doctor can't help me on this one. These I mean, it's really getting unhinged. And I know I'm partisan. I get it. But this is getting out of control.
It really is ridiculous, because the Mueller investigation stated there was no collusion. So if there was no underlying crime, they're trying to go, well, he was obstructing justice. He was trying to stop the investigation. How is justice obstructed when there was no underlying crime?
Actually, I once thought that. I know it sounds crazy, you can still obstruct justice with no crime. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's true.
It really is ridiculous. But
it is legally true.
I mean, what they're doing now is they are just trying to push through obstruction charges. And essentially what Trump is saying is like, look, enough is enough. You've been looking for something to hang me on since before I took office. I'm not putting up with it anymore. Get out of my way.
Okay, how about the financial document, which I was shocked that a court ruled the Congress can get that. I mean, there's no reason for that.
There's no reason for it. It's going to be appealed, and I'm fairly certain it's going to be overturned. What we've seen with all of the court cases against the Trump administration, be it this obstruction or the immigration laws, is Congress has been shopping these around, so they go to friendly lower courts.
Oh, yeah. These court things are insane.
So, I mean,
like the lower court in San Francisco or something,
right.
Whatever, the Ninth District.
They've really blown out of the water the idea that the courts are impartial.
Oh, God, that's a joke, yes.
So, yeah, the lower court says, yes, you have to turn it over. They'll appeal. If it does get pushed up, ultimately Trump will win this the same way he's won all the other cases.
Okay, now politically, does Nadler, Schiff, the whole lot of them, what does this do politically?
Politically,
let me ask you a question first of all. Do they have fatigue already?
They do. Polls have shown that on both sides, they're going, enough is enough. We're tired of this. The only thing is, if the Democrats push for impeachment and they actually start impeachment proceedings, regardless of whether or not they succeed, they will energize their base.
Okay. If they will it energize the Republican base?
I absolutely think it'll also energize Trump's base to come out and stop this from happening more.
I do think it's two things that are very sad. The state of the so-called free press and the state of our political apparatus. I mean, it's real. I don't know if we can recover from this. This is really true. I mean, the press totally out of control, not even pretending to be unbiased. And then you have basically Congress, after a report came out, they just want to overturn an election because they know they can't win legitimately. It's really bad. And be careful what you wish for, because if it happens on the other side, let's have some more It's really bad. Your final thoughts?
Well, it did happen on the other side. What we've got now is almost identical to what went on in 1992. But the Republicans were going after Clinton. The media was certainly in Clinton's corner. You know, they were very pro-Clinton. There was no impartiality about it. And that was also the last time that Roe v. Wade was challenged. Of course, Roe v. Wade was upheld. and I think it'll be upheld again. But we've seen this before on the other end. That's why Nancy Pelosi keeps telling these people that they should not go down the road of impeachment because she's seen it.
Can I tell you a little story about that?
Go ahead.
As a Republican in 1995, or it had to be 96, during this, or 97, whatever it was, during these proceedings, the impeachment, I, as a Republican, said, this is ridiculous. And I was a Republican. My point is.
And you weren't alone, because the Republicans got beaten in that next election.
Yes, because I knew it was, okay, whatever. Maybe he probably should have been censured in front of Congress, and they move on, and that's call it a day. But impeachment over nothing, I don't know what will happen this time. I guess the final question is, do you think they'll actually move towards impeachment?
I don't know if they will or not. Nancy Pelosi is doing her best to stop it. Because, again, she knows if they go down the road with impeachment, they will definitely lose 2020, and they may also lose both the House and Senate again. So she's trying to stop it.
We'll see how it goes. Lopkin, great show once again. We'll do it again next week.
See you then.
You've been listening to Carnivore Bites, part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can catch us every week at exvadio.com/podcasts, on the iHeartRadio app, the Apple Podcasts app, the iTunes Store, Spotify, and wherever you find podcasts. You can also catch us live every Friday at 4 on WESU FM 88.1.